Good evening, everyone. It's Wednesday. It's 8 o'clock. It's the TNG review show.
I can't shout and scream too loudly today with my voice the way it is.
That's right. No shouting and screaming from you, Maz.
No, it's Husky Maz today.
Husky Maz. Sexy sounding Maz.
Well, sometimes I may croak, I may squeak. Sometimes it goes all together or just comes back. Let's just
you've kind of gone the other side of that now. It was kind of better pre-show.
Yeah,
in,
well,
in
it
the
does
green
come
room.
back every now and then, and then it goes again. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. Yes. And of course, as we mentioned last week, no G-Star this evening. G is busy on business, as he is a busy man. So you're just stuck with the Montalban and the Mazamek Bob for this evening. Smiler's not feeling too well either, so we'll see if. I see she's in chat. Evening, Smiler. Oh, thank you for. She's popping by and saying hello, but she might be off. She might be off early to bed this evening. She's not too good. Good evening to Stuplum. Stuplum is in chat already, and so is Karen.
Yeah.
Well done, Karen. She's awake and she's with us.
Bless her.
Good to have you on the good ship Montalban Live on the TNG review show. Tonight, Maz, we've got some gins for us to try.
Yeah, I still couldn't see. You held it up pre-show, but it was just a bit blurry.
Hike. We're going for hike. Hike gin.
Hike.
So it's 42%.
Which says
it's a gold medal winning gin.
Using grape spirit. Interesting.
Grape spirit.
And then flavored with a blend of botanicals, including coriander, myrrh, and rooibos. Isn't rooibos a type of tea or something?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
Don't know. I have to say, though, it's another good one.
Is it?
I think so.
Exciting.
Very tasty.
Karen says that's why the music intro was on, because G-Star wasn't in charge.
Well, we do it slightly differently now, Karen. It's not. There's not going to be any music until 8 o'clock. It just sits with like a test card, like just a static screen, way ahead of time, so people can turn up whenever they want now and start chatting and things. But the actual stream with the music, the intro music doesn't start till 8. And
it means when we sort of post about it on Facebook and stuff, we can put that link to the actual show on there rather than just the link to Montalban's channel, and then people have to sort of find the show for themselves.
Yeah.
Trying to be helpful to some.
That's right.
Confusing to our usuals.
Confusing to the usuals, yes. There's no music to begin with, but it will be there at 8 o'clock.
But I saw it does helpfully have a little countdown thing. Like when you first put it on it earlier, it said something like the show will start in 77 minutes. I thought, that's clever.
Yeah, you have a nice little countdown. It's pretty cool. I like it. Hopefully, if we ever get a few more viewers, and we're missing a couple this evening. I have to say, G-Star's not the only one missing. We're missing a Mickey and a couple of others. Could be a competition between Stuplum and Karen this evening.
Mickey might be on his way back from the gym.
He probably is.
And I've got something weird. It did this last week as well. I'm showing us with one viewer on my stream. It's just for the last couple of weeks, it doesn't seem to have show me actually how many viewers there are. I don't know why. So I can't tell.
I think we have at least 3 or 4.
Yeah, we must do
3 and 4.
Well, we've got to have, but it doesn't show them for some reason. Oh, it's just changed to 4 now. I don't know how.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I wouldn't rely on it. I wouldn't. Just assume there's hundreds of people watching and they're all really interested in Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Well, I'm thinking, there's at least 5 or 6 people here and it says 1. It didn't seem right, but anyway.
No. Yeah. So this evening we're talking about season 3 episode.
The Enemy.
Yeah. So that's what we're going to be talking about this evening.
And another Geordi episode. He just had one last week.
I'll tell you, Geordi episodes are like buses, aren't they? Yeah, you wait a whole season for a good Geordi episode, and then 2 come along.
Definitely. I'm going to have a taste of this gin.
It's actually really nice. I really quite like it. I'm telling you, it's going down really well because I need a gin after today. Very nice.
That is a bit tasty, isn't it?
It's tasty. It's
another
really
smooth
tasty.
and slightly citrusy
Another smooth.
one.
There you go. A big props to Hike Gin. Give it a go. We recommend. Monty Band recommends.
I can't reach it because it's in the living room, but I mayhap have bought you an extra December present.
Oh, you're not allowed to do that.
It's not a Christmas present. I called it a December present.
Oh.
But yeah, I did after last week, so I went on and ordered 2 bottles of that Silent Pool. One for you,
did you?
Me.
Oh, exciting! That's really cool.
Yeah, I should have. I could have given it to Ludacris this morning. He could have dropped it around with the advent calendars, but I forgot. It's still sat in my living room at the moment. Num nums.
Nummy num nums. Right. So have we covered everything? We've covered the gin. I've got my paddle to give the scores at the end.
Paddle.
Paddle. I've got my gin things.
What to score?
We're all ready. We're all ready to start. So here we go. The Enemy. It is episode 7 of season 3, production number 40273-155. It first aired on the 6th of November 1989. It was the 54th episode to be produced and the 54th to be aired. So they're really on schedule with season 3, because I think season 2 was all over the place. Like some of the early ones were towards the end of the season, but they are. It seems smooth sailing in season 3. It's the 161st episode of Star Trek in all. So the teaser. It's one of those ones. It's one of those episodes which doesn't start off with a captain's log or anything like that. Or you probably want.
Pictures.
There you go. There you have it. Yeah, it doesn't have. Captain's log, stardate, blah blah blah. The Enterprise has been called to a planet had a distress signal, and it's none of that. We're just on a planet, and there's an away team of Riker, Worf, and Geordi. There must be some kind of issue with transportation on this planet, because Riker sets out a transporter marker to help them get back. There's a powerful electromagnetic storm encompassing the planet, which is obscuring all their scans. Geordi does pick something up, though, on his visor, and it turns out to be a downed Romulan ship. Geordi picks up that the craft was destroyed after it crashed, to help obscure it so nobody can find out what it really truly was. They split up and look for survivors, and Worf finds an injured Romulan. The Romulan attempts to fight back, but Worf knocks him out with the palm of his hand. Meanwhile, Geordi falls into the shaft, and Riker and Worf, unable to find him, beam back with the Romulan back to the Enterprise. Geordi's left alone, shouting Worf's name, alone in a dark cave.
Oh, very sad.
That was your teaser. There they are, on the planet. They've got those TNG torches, like palm torches, and they always hold them like that. Which I must think, if you're on an away team on a planet like this for an hour, you're going to be like that after a while, aren't you? You're going to be like, oh God. It's nobody in their right mind holds a torch like that, do they?
Defo.
I was wondering about...
Did you see Karen giving us the star date there?
Oh, no.
Very
really?
Official. Good job that wasn't a question.
43349.2. My gosh. No. Wow. That's G-star level of detail. That's the kind of detail we need with G-star being MIA.
Yeah. Should have got Karen on the show.
Yeah. But then we'd lose our one of our two
That's
viewers.
true. That's true.
We can't afford to lose 50% of the viewership on a co-host. Yeah.
That would be not good.
This picture here made me wonder, what's that shadow? It looks like a studio. It looks like a studio gantry or something reflecting in the light.
Oh yeah.
But
isn't it?
I think it's where they got like actual like flashing LED or like projector lights to make the lightning, and I think it's like caught like a bit of the studio, like in the mist. Yeah.
I mean, it's another not too decent set, really, isn't it? We haven't seen many of these recently.
It's the standard Planet Hell set that they use for all these.
We haven't seen it for a while, though, have we? That kind of poor, sort of soundstage type set.
I will credit them, though, in that it is the same polystyrene-y, paper mache looking rocks, that we always get, but this scene's kind of elevated through the atmospheric lighting, especially with the Blu-ray version. They really amped up the contrast, which made it look a lot more cinematic. And the music for this episode, especially for the planet shots, I thought was really good. Really deep orchestral, really movie, almost like Star Wars sounding music. I just thought the music was really good, especially in this opening scene, which made it seem more epic than normal. Here we see the three of them. There's going to be some talk of uniform gate in this episode.
How did you know?
Out of the three here,
which one has a new uniform?
Yeah, that could have been a question, couldn't it? Does anybody know, out of these three, who's wearing the new uniforms and who's wearing the old uniforms? There's
I know.
for you, Karen. Yeah, well, there's no TNG points on offer for this one. It's just whether you actually spotted the contrasting uniforms in this episode or not. But in fact, it's quite obvious with even at this distance, with Geordi here, you can see his looser fitting uniform with the new elastic waists. So Geordi here is actually boasting a new uniform, and so is Riker. But this more tighter fitting uniform on Worf is still the dual seam with the weird mini seams. The Mark II uniform. So yeah.
See, I must admit, I didn't notice until I saw Riker's on the bridge, and then I kept trying to see with Geordi's, but by the time I was looking for it, it was covered in mud. I found it really difficult to tell.
Yeah, I did think it was pretty ballsy.
I actually thought that as soon as they've, they pay apparently about $5,000 for these uniforms, I thought maybe they would just cover his old one in mud if they're about to level him up with a new one anyway. But to pay all that money for a new one and then cover it in crap does seem a bit odd.
They did. They finally give Geordi a new uniform, and they ruin it. The first scene.
Funny.
I guess they covered it in stuff that is easily washed out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there we go. What's the next one? Oh no, we'll wait on that then. So that was the end of the teaser. So we start off with our first question of the evening. So fingers on buzzers. Well, no, you don't have buzzers. You don't have to have your fingers on them. But you can answer the question in chat. The question is, what type of storm was currently raging on the planet? What type of storm was raging on the planet? Obviously, no G-star this evening, so there's just the question, and you have to type out the answer. There's no multiple choice. But, you know me, for this question, we have 5 TNG points up for offer.
So 5. Going the opposite way this time, then. It's not
Well,
1,000.
well, you're all laughing at me giving away ample TNG points, so I thought, right, tonight I'm
Go the
going to be
opposite way.
reserved. We're going to be reserved this evening. So yeah, 5 TNG points. That's all I'm willing to give this question.
Too bad. You
yeah,
could have started at 1.
yeah, what type of storm was raging on the planet? Okay, I'll get on with Act 1 whilst you fill in your answers in chat. Sorry, Maz. Is there any mistakes?
I was going to say Smiler Rainbow's put what storm, but no, she's just asking what storm was it?
Yeah, well done, Smiler. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't have much trivia for this bit so far, but I did read that in this episode, and this is a bit of sort of crew controversy, really, but apparently the original write of this episode had both Geordi and Deanna being trapped on the planet, and Deanna got to like deck a Romulan and stuff like that, and Marina Sirtis was really happy with that because she was like, oh great, finally, like my character gets to do something different and get out there and see some action. And then of course by the time the final script came through, she was up on the ship doing nothing, had one line right at the end of the episode, and she said that repeatedly happened where her kind of character's involvement in an episode was just downgraded, and she ended up with very little character development. So yeah, frustrating for her, no doubt.
Right. Yeah. It just must be annoying for her. I quite like it though, because it just like arcs back to the film Enemy Mine, and that kind of like developing a interpersonal relationship with two people. I don't think that would have worked so well if there was a third wheel.
Yeah,
because they would have outnumbered the Romulan.
That's probably why they made the changes.
Yeah, it just wouldn't have quite worked. There's still no Mickey, so I was giving him some time.
Got electrical, thunder, and then lightning emojis.
Yeah.
Got like a half, right? One of them's half, right?
Yeah, it's not quite. There's no right answers at the moment. I will say that Karen's close. It was actually an electromagnetic storm, not electrical storm. Electromagnetic is a little different. So
not even 1 or 2 points for the Karen?
I tell you what, I'll give you for that. I'll give you half points of 2.5.
2.5 points. Wow.
2.5 points.
Hey, big spender.
Yep. That's all I'm giving. That's the end of it. There we go. Act 1. Right.
And that makes Karen an ensign, right?
Hey?
Or are we not doing ranks this week?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, fine. She can be an ensign. Sure. Why not? Yeah, go for that. I don't know. Yes, go. We'll do ranks. I don't think I did last time, but yes. You just tell me what rank they've got. Yeah. Okay, Act 1. We learn that there was an unidentified distress signal which led them to the planet in the Galondon core. They sent out the away team to investigate and found the crashed ship and a survivor. They receive the Romulan in the transporter room and transfer him directly to sickbay, with Worf ensuring that security is on standby. O'Brien tries everything to find Geordi, but the electromagnetic storms are producing too many ghost signals. Riker's not happy about this and shouts at O'Brien. "Start beaming up those signals back, one might be Geordi," he rants. He asks permission to lead a rescue mission, but is denied by Picard. In walking to the bridge, Riker is openly very agitated, telling Picard that there's nothing to salvage from the crash unless you want to use some tweezers. And when Picard thinks Galondon Core could be used as a first staging post in a new conflict, Riker replies, well, they weren't there for the climate. Riker's very angry at the beginning of this episode. I don't know if you noticed, Maz.
I didn't specifically, to be fair, but
he was a very angry Riker. He wasn't happy that he left a crewman behind And nobody ever picks him up on it and that, but he just shouts at everyone. He's very, very agitated.
Well, it's been quite about half a series since he bedded some random woman, hasn't it? So, maybe he's getting a bit frustrated.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got some pent up. That might explain a scene later on as well, actually, which we'll come to in a bit. Back on the planet, using his visor, Geordi has found some metal in the rocks, and using local clay to fashion a mould and his phaser as a furnace, he fashions some picks to help him climb out. In sickbay, Bev is having trouble working on the Romulan. She thought it would be like a Vulcan, but there are many differences. The guy needs a transfusion of compatible ribosomes. I think ribosomes? I think that's what it is. Which can't be replicated. So she's testing the crew to find a compatible donor. Riker gets impatient, though, and wants to know if the Romulan will survive long enough to tell them anything. Picard steps in and is like, Riker's not just being a dick, it's an important consideration. Bev thinks she can bring him around for a few minutes, but tells them it also looks like the atmosphere breaks down their brain, so there could be brain damage, and this will also affect Geordi. She brings the Romulan around, but he doesn't answer Riker's questions. Riker shouts at him a bit more, and he confirms that he was alone on the planet, leading Riker to believe that he wasn't alone. On the planet, Geordi gets out of the hull using his picks and displays some amazing upper body strength. Under that new baggy uniform, he must be ripped. That's all we think.
What was that with the climbing?
Yeah.
I was thinking
he uses his hands just to go.
Yeah, I mean, that was like something out of Ninja Warrior, right?
Yeah.
And the thing with that stick, though, I mean, I thought the idea was quite cool of the fact that he made a little channel and melted the metal ore into a spike. But, at the very best, it would have been knobbly with bits of stuff stuck to it and have one flat side. But then when you see him doing it, it's like, they're very sort of smooth, metal, pointy cylinder. I mean, it's just very, very unrealistic.
Yeah. But he is the chief engineer of the Federation starship, so he has his ways. And he's ripped, so nobody messes with him anyway.
Yeah, never knew.
Yeah. Why does he have so much problem with the girls? That's what I want to know.
Don't know.
Because, well, yes. Anyway, back on the bridge, Riker is shouting at everyone, wanting to know how to get Geordi back. Wes comes up with an idea of a portable neutrino source, putting it in a probe and sending it down to the planet. Geordi's visor will pick it up, leading him to it, and then he'll be able to mess about with it, so they'll know he's there and they can beam him up. Picard says, "Make it so." Data picks up a transmission from the other side of the neutral zone. It's a Romulan Warbird. The commander identifies himself as Tomalak. He says they picked up the distress signal and are crossing the neutral zone and will arrive at the planet in 6 hours.
I don't know if you noticed Karen's comment, that the question about the electromagnetic storm was shocking. And Smiley Rainbow shocked you're doing half points. I think when the maximum points for the whole question was 5, you got to just take every little scrap you can get, right?
Yeah, that's right. You've just got to be pleased with the crumbs I'm dishing out this evening.
And Stuplum says Geordi had a file in his pocket, and then he sat there and made it all nice and smooth.
Yeah, that's what that ensign said in the holodeck last week. Is that a file in your pocket? No, it's a gypsy violin. Yeah. The Romulan Commander, played by Andreas Katsulas. I can't remember. Jakar from Babylon 5.
Yeah.
A great character actor. May he rest in peace.
and he's comes back into it as Tomahawk. I think it's the first of 4 appearances for this character throughout the
4.
TNG
Wow.
arc.
That's cool. Yeah, he's great.
A good recurring character.
Jakar was fantastic in Babylon 5.
Oh yeah, I mean he was a main character in that, wasn't he?
The arc that Jakar goes through in Babylon 5 and where Andreas takes him is just one of the best sci-fi characters probably of all time.
Yeah, and in fact his relationship with what's he called?
Oh no, the name's gone.
No.
Yeah,
I keep thinking Minbari. It's not though. It's
no. But he's called Malari.
Malari, that's it, not Minbari, Malari. Yeah, so and their relationship is just like I mean, the fact that they go from enemies to friends to one torturing the other. It's just absolutely brilliant.
It's just
Love
epic.
That series.
Yeah.
In 5 years' time, when we finish reviewing TNG.
Babylon 5 review show coming next.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, that'd be good. But that was the end of Act 1. So it goes on to the Act 1 question. This question, I'm going to go all out on this one. This question is going to be for a whopping 8 TNG points. 8. And the question is, what was the name of the Romulan Commander? The commander of the Warbird. What was the name of the Romulan Commander?
And if you want to answer as well, Smiler, there's all to play for. Loads of points up for grabs.
Don't get too excited. Oh, that gin is fantastic.
Oh, it really is, isn't it? Another sort of bit of trivia here is that Beverly is wearing her long hair. I mean, I don't know if it's a wig, why they say wearing her hair. But then apparently it goes back to short in the next episode. So you were saying at the beginning that they were sort of doing well at doing things in the right order, but her hair goes short, then long, then short again, apparently.
Well,
so
here is them working on the Romulan in sick bay, where Riker's about to interrogate him, and as you can say, her hair is down past her shoulders. I'd say, yeah, it was fairly long.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was like in the last episode.
I don't know. Here we have a mixture as well, because we've got season 1 and 2 uniforms and season 3 Mark II uniforms.
Yeah, I had that noted as well. That all the extras in sick bay and even on the bridge had the old uniforms. You know, it's the sort of thing that I never really used to notice. It's only now I'm sort of looking for stuff that, yeah.
Oh, I always noticed.
I never did. Yeah, I'm not as naturally geeky as you. My geekiness has been trained into me. I wasn't born with it.
You weren't born a geek. Geek was thrusted upon you.
It's like for you it's nature, for me it's nurture, right?
Yeah, I was just going to show you this as a quick thing. I mentioned just for the Blu-ray how they improved the contrast. This was earlier on the planet where we first get a glimpse of the Romulan survivor. There he is, passed out, and that's what it looked in the original, in the standard definition, and this is what it looked like in the Blu-ray, the new version. They really upped the contrast between the light and the dark in that whole scene, in that whole planetary scene. So it really gave it a more atmospheric, less studio lighty kind of feel. So there you go. That was that.
So Smiler Rainbow says, as she's a doctor and she's got like a limb regrowing doohickey, maybe she uses it on her hair to make it grow and such. And with regard to the fact that they're all wearing different uniforms, Stu Plum says, it's not very uniform, is it?
No.
The irony.
That's very good. Very
And you've
good,
even got
Stupid.
Bev Crusher wearing a lab coat thingy. So yeah, not very uniform indeed.
And we've got some answers in, and they're both correct. It was Commander Tomalak, of the Romulan Star Empire. So congratulations on both of you getting 8 points and promotions to Lieutenant.
Sounds about right.
Sounds right, doesn't it? Let's go with that. Let's go with it.
And of course, Karen is in the lead with her 10.5 points.
Well done, Karen. There we go. Right. What am I doing now? Act 2. Here we go. Next act, Act 2. Picard hails the Romulan Warbird, and at first they don't respond. But then after some further prompting, they respond by saying one of their vessels has had a slight navigational malfunction and accidentally crossed the neutral zone. Picard's not convinced, but Tomalak assures him that no aggression was intended. Picard then informs them they have a survivor who's being treated. Tomalak seems concerned that they have him on board your ship and is suddenly interested in the state of the downed ship on the planet. Picard confirms that it was completely destroyed, much to Tomalak's relief. Picard agrees to return the officer once he's retrieved his away team from the surface. And asks Tomalak whether there was any more survivors they should be looking for, and Tomalak confirms that there were no other survivors. It was a one-man craft. Tomalak tells Picard to meet him at the border to the neutral zone in 5 hours. After they cease comms, Troy says there is great hostility behind his smile. Worf wants to hold the Romulan. He doesn't think we should give him back, and Riker agrees. Very strongly agrees. But Picard doesn't think there's enough evidence. Riker tries shouting at Picard that it wasn't pilot error. But Picard is not moved. He doesn't want to create an incident that will lead to a galactic war. Which is fair enough, to be honest. But Riker goes around shouting at everybody in this episode. He's very angry. He's a very angry man. In sickbay,
Chill,
it's like, chill, dude, chill. In sickbay, Dr. Crusher is having issues as none of her treatments are working. She's going to try some old country medicine to try to keep the fever down. And on the bridge, they launch Wesley's probe. On the planet,
was super excited about his probe, wasn't he? He came in going, I finished it. He looked so happy.
I'm going to launch a probe.
And apparently there's like a bit of I didn't notice it myself, but apparently there's a bit of a continuity error in that he goes off to work on his probe. Somebody takes his place on the con. And then when Picard's talking to Tomalak, you can actually see Picard and Wes sat at their con. And then later on, Wesley comes back to the bridge. But there was a scene in between where he was apparently on the bridge and shouldn't have been.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Probably should move the picture on. Yeah, that'll do. Let's go with that.
And I like the way when Stu Plum and Karen both got the question right, Karen was like, so does that mean we only get 4 points each? Because you're being so stingy with points. She thinks you're going to split them between them.
Oh, no.
Look what
gosh.
You've done.
I'm not that stingy. You get a whole 8.
Whole 8 each.
Whole 8
each.
Yes.
Great.
See? Mick's like wishing he doesn't know the points he's missing out on. He just doesn't know it.
Where are you, Mickey?
Yeah. On the planet, Geordi is making his way somewhere. He doesn't know where he's going, but it's no use being late. When he actually sees Wesley's neutrino beacon shining through the sky, he thanks Wes, but I don't know how he knew Wes sent that down. He's like, oh, good boy, Wes. It's like, well,
the inference is
that
like,
that might have been Data's idea.
He's such a boy genius that it could have only been him. But you're right. Yeah, Data would have. That seems like a very Data-y thing to come up with. Actually,
1,200 people on that ship.
Oh, it had to be the ensign.
Half of them scientists. It's got to be the genius boy Wes. But anyway, It's funny.
Funny.
He's just like, well done, Wes. Just as he sees it, he gets jumped from behind. It's quite a nice little scene as he's walking by, and you see his boots walk by, and then another pair of boots walk behind him. He gets jumped behind by another Romulan from the one-man Romulan ship, who knocks him out with a karate chop to the back. And that's the end of Act 2.
And you know that Romulan there?
Yes.
The actor for that was also in Babylon 5.
Was he?
Yeah. John
Not
Snyder.
a main cast.
Not as a main cast, no. He actually played 2 different sort of single characters in 2 different episodes. He was the Hunter, who was like a guy with kind of like a big sort of domey forehead with like a thin down the middle.
I know the Hunter.
And he was also, I can't remember, I mean, you would, if you looked at a picture, you'd get it exactly, but he was a guy from an episode called By Any Means Necessary, with no prosthetics or anything, just like as himself. He looks like he might, no, he's not in the Psychor, but he looks evil. I don't know, but I can't remember the character. I recognize him, but it's just been so many years since I've watched Babylon 5. But yeah, it's just funny that they got 2 Babylon 5 actors in this one episode.
I think he's a really fascinating character in this episode, but he is like he hams it up to a degree. You know, like he's so Romulan, he's almost Ferengi-ish. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's just so like, I don't know. He's just really like quite over the top. But
he is. But then I think what I've factored into it was the fact that he's injured. He's got something really wrong with him. I think he's actually in extreme pain, and he's trying not to show
messing
it.
with him.
So I think that's a lot of that kind of the extremeness of his acting is probably because he's not doing very well.
He really throws like 100% into the performance, though.
Definitely.
He doesn't leave anything on the table.
No,
he's all in on his character, which is really good to see in a character actor on a show like this, isn't it? It's not just a little paycheck, but by now TNG is not like a laughing matter. It's now like one of the biggest shows on TV. You know, this is when TV was important. Because there was no internet, there was no
streaming, and
no other things going on. It was like
we only had like 4 channels or something back then.
Yeah, if you're on prime time, and you're a big show, you're a big deal, and to get a part like this, so he was just showing what he can do. Yeah, which is cool, which is very cool.
Smiley Rainbow said maybe Bev used her limb growing enlarger doohickey on Wesley's brain box.
Limb growing? What?
Earlier she said Bev has a limb regrowing doohickey. Maybe she used it on her hair to give her long hair. And now she's saying maybe she used her limb growing doohickey on Wesley's brain box to give him bigger brain box.
Our power would like me to use that limb growing doohickey on him because he's always moaning that he's too short.
Good, let's use it on his legs.
Yeah. Maybe she did, and that's why he's so brainy.
I mean, she's a doctor, so he could be all kinds of like genetically manipulated up the wazoo for all we know.
The mind boggles.
It does.
So that was the end of Act 2. So we've got an Act 2 question.
Oh,
It's question time.
Time.
Yeah, question time. And this question is going to be worth. I'm gonna go big. I'm going big with this
figures?
One. Yes, I'm going a whole 15.
Oof.
15. Oofers. That's a big oof. I should have gone 16 to make it easy to have, but no, it doesn't matter. 15 it is. I've already decided. The question is, what type of beacon does Wes put in a probe? Oh, yes. Good point, Smiler Rainbow. Just like Dr. Bashir.
Yeah, I was going to say that. We do know of some genetically enhanced people in
Starfleet
their
doctors.
Starfleet. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
To be
Maybe
fair,
he
his
learned from the
parents
best.
weren't doctors that did it to him, but
No, that's true. That's true.
yeah, bless him. I just think again that's just a great character development. It's just so excellent. There's so many funny things around that. Like afterwards, when O'Brien's like, "So all this time when we've been playing darts, have you just been sandbagging?"
Yeah.
Oh, it's just
So
so great.
he makes him stand the other end of the bar from then on.
Yeah, you think he's
And
going to
it's
say,
great.
"Oh, it's not worth playing you," and he goes, "Nope, right, I'll play from here, and you," and takes him almost to like the door of the bar, "can play from over here." And if that
Yeah.
doesn't work, we'll blindfold you.
I like it. It's even like later that season, they're like playing darts and like
You can see him all the way in the background.
the doctor gets fed up with it and just like it's his turn, so he just goes to take it from where O'Brien stood, and O'Brien's like, "What do you think you're doing?
No.
Get back there!" He's like, "Oh God." Yeah, very funny, very good. We got any answers? No. Okay, well, come up with your answers. We want to know what type of probe did Wesley create? What kind of beacon side did Wesley create? And put a probe and shoot to the planet.
Apparently, the shooting of the probe, wherever it is, blah blah blah. The launch of the Class 3 probe was stock footage from Next Generation, where silence has lease.
True to a point.
Oh.
Yeah, true to a point.
Okay.
And here you go. I have some footage. I had this as a note to show you. There we go. That is where silence has lease. Yeah, that's the original. That is.
Where's the probe?
Here we go. That is that same shot with the probe.
Mm-hmm.
There's two interesting facts about this in the new Blu-ray version. One, in the Where Silence Has Lease episode, they had this shot, which is actually a reshoot using a computer-generated model.
Oh.
That they managed to make look exactly like the original. And then for this episode, they completely reshot it again with a completely different computer enterprise model. And the good thing about it is, and I'll just go back to the original. So that's the original shot of the probe being shot off. And because this is the Where Silence Has Lease shot with a matte layer of the probe with the jets coming out of it added on top of the pre-shot Enterprise, because in the new one it's all done in situ in the computer model. You've got the glow of the probe rockets on the underside of the saucer section of the Enterprise, so it looks a lot more realistic because it's all done as one effect, one computer generated effect. So the lighting's all correct. So there you go. It was a nice shot, and if you watch it, it does look a lot better. This shot of the probe being launched.
Very nice.
Yeah. So there you go. But you're right. You're right in that it was like generally the same composition, and originally it was the same shot.
Yeah.
There you go. I'm just going to go back to the other picture. Have we got some answers
Did you catch what the other Romulan was called? The one in sickbay.
No, I didn't catch it.
Because you never guess what his name is.
Tomlock?
No. Patak.
No.
Patahk I've got here. It says Steve Rankin, who plays Patak, also plays Klingon mercenary named Yito in the episode in DS9 Invasive Procedures, an unnamed Cardassian officer in Emissary, and Colonel Green in Star Trek Enterprise Demons. But the reason why this is so funny to us, girls and boys, is because we were talking earlier about the Klingon word of the day, and we chose the word patak, which means like idiot, or it's a general Klingon insult. But I didn't realize that was actually the name of the other Romulan.
Yeah, it's the name of the other Rob. So yes, the Klingon. Now you mention it,
Spelled
this is
completely
it.
different.
Time. It's the Klingon word of the day, and that is patak. So there you go. We can add it to our Klingon dictionary of words. I've forgotten what the other words were. I'm just gonna.
There was the daktar, which was the dagger, right?
There was, yes, there was daktach, the Klingon knife. There was govam, which was the booby trap, and majram, which is good night.
And of course, the always the what do you call it? Kapla. Success or hello, greeting, goodbye.
Yeah, kapla.
Used for a lot.
I didn't put.
Oh my God, Mickey's here! Mickey's here! Hi, Mickey. In a way, you'll be glad to know you're only 10 points behind of the rest of the people, but that's because we've gone the opposite direction with our points this time. He's only given out a few each time.
Somebody says the right direction, or some people just call me a patah.
A patah.
They say I'm weird.
And in case you did watch it, or in case you do know, the last question is, what was the beacon? What was in the beacon that?
What type of beacon did Wesley put in a probe and send to the planet?
That was the last question.
What type of beacon?
Well, there you go. Patak, the dying Romulan.
Patak. You smelly patak.
I mean, I always thought it was a really, really harsh insult, but when we were looking at it earlier, they basically said it means weirdo. I mean, the way that Klingons say it is if they're calling somebody like, the C word or something, but instead it's like weirdo. It just seems like not that much of a insulting insult.
No. But yeah, that's what it means, apparently. There you go. Yep, so we're going to go have answers. And the answer to the question of what type of beacon did Wesley put in a probe? The answer is a neutrino pulse beacon. And Karen got it spot on. She didn't even get half points this time. She got all the points. And Stu Plum, unfortunately, with no idea probe, is incorrect. That's not right, Stu Plum. Unfortunately, that wasn't right. So yeah, 15 points, winging its way to Karen, and a promotion to Lieutenant Commander.
So we've got Karen on 25.5 points, Stu Plum on 8 points. Smiler, I think, is not so much playing, but that's fine. We know you've got hurty boo-boos. And Mickey is not on any points yet because he's just joined us.
Yeah. Yep.
He said it's been one of those weeks.
He hasn't even seen the episode either.
Oh dear. So some guesses. Unfortunately, we're not doing multiple choice, so we'll just be extreme guess time.
Listen carefully to my words. That's what I say. Listen carefully to my words.
How's you been doing, by the way? You nearly finished.
Oh, I've finished. Shall I go on to the next one? Yeah. So the next one is a East London Liquor Company gin.
What's the description?
It's another 42%er.
It says botanicals, fresh lemon and grapefruit peel, coriander, angelica root, juniper berries, cubeb berries, never heard of those, and cardamom.
Yeah.
Interesting.
A lot has gone into this one.
Lots of ice and premium tonic, optional slice of lime.
So I've gone with a premium tonic. I don't have anything else, so.
And we've probably told you all this before, but you're supposed to taste it once with no tonic, and then you add the tonic of your choice, or to the amount that you choose.
You do.
Oh, that smells rather nice.
It's nice. I'd say it's not as nice as the last one, but it's definitely got a lot of nice flavours in it. It's very nice.
Flavoricious.
Okie dokie. So I'm going to get on with Act 3. We're on now. The Romulan holds Geordi at disruptor point and asks him his name and rank. Geordi complies and gives that information, but like it's no use. We heard your distress signal and the fleet's arrived. You're surrounded by Starfleet. The Romulan's not convinced though, but Geordi replies, I never lie with sand in my shoes, Commodore. Which is a great line.
Yeah, when I posted pictures on Facebook of this episode, I've just had people quoting that at me.
Yeah, I never lie with sand in my shoes. Just then, a rock slide knocks the Romulan out. And Geordi helps him to safety. And assuming that by saving his life, he's proven that they can work together, so he doesn't bother taking the disruptor off of him, which proves to be a mistake, as the Romulan's still intent on holding him captive, much to Geordi's surprise. Yes.
It's a bad move. I mean, you are still, I was going to say in the military, but they obviously always say Starfleet is not supposed to be military outfit. So, but still you'd think the training would kick in at some point.
You would think, wouldn't you? And he's like, oh gosh. Oh, you're still doing the whole prisoner thing. Oh. Are you attacking your? What
I
are you
put some
doing?
ice in an ice thing, and it's all stuck together. So now I'm going at it with a knife to chop it up.
I thought you were like trying to stab your laptop.
No, I'm just stabbing some ice. It's good. I found a knife on my table. It was quite handy actually.
That's handy. That is handy.
So
if you ever wanted to know what it looked like for Maz to kill someone, there you go. That's what it looks like, ladies and gentlemen.
It's like the ice is actually stuck to the glass. It's weird. Anyway, I think that's enough ice now.
Yeah. Anyway, so he's still intent on holding him prisoner. But he does sit down and empty a lot of sand out of his shoe. There was a surprising amount of sand in his shoe, so I could understand why he mentioned it now. In sickbay, Dr. Crusher delivers the good news to Worf that he's the only compatible ribosome match. Worf's surprised because he's, not Romulan. And it turns out that he's also not interested in being a donor. And she's like, you do know what the tests were for? And he's like, I don't have problems with tests. But saving a Romulan's life, as far as he's concerned, the Romulans are enemies who killed his parents. So, yeah, he's not interested. He's not interested. There we go. Oh, hello, Joel. We have Joel on.
Long time no see,
Long
Mr.
time
Joel.
No see, yeah. He's just come in to see you stabbing the heck out of something. He must have thought, what's going on? Yeah.
Brandishing my knife. It's what
That's
you need when you got some stubborn ice.
We're not concerned at all. So Worf doesn't want to help. Back on the planet, Geordi and the Romulan are exchanging their belief structures, and the Romulan introduces himself as Centurion Bokra, which Geordi comments is a good, solid Romulan name. Geordi is concerned for his... I don't know.
What good Romulan? I don't know.
It's something to say, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice. Making nice talk.
He is concerned for his new Romulan friend, though, as he detects his temperature shot up using his visor. Bokra is surprised that his captive is blind and remarks that he explains why the Federation is weak, because they waste their time and resources on defective children. Just pretty damn harsh, isn't it?
It's really harsh.
Geordi's like, oh, gosh. Chief Engineer of the Federation Starship Enterprise. Done all right. Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just then, his visor starts glitching, which is not good. Geordi thinks the planet
I was doing all right.
Oh, I was doing all right. No, I might be screwed.
The thing is, he goes, I'm blind. And I'm thinking, yeah, that happened a long time ago, mate.
Yeah. Oh, you just noticed. Oh, God. Yeah, his visor's glitching. It must be the planet messing with both the Romulan's metabolism and his visor. But the Romulan won't let him move. He's intent on keeping him there. On the bridge, they've still got no luck finding Geordi. The Warbird signals, and Tomalak is irritated that the Enterprise is not where it's supposed to be. Picard explains they're still having trouble retrieving the away team from the planet below. But he confirms that the Romulan crew member that they have, is still alive but in a critical condition. Tomalak is dismayed that Picard will not allow him to cross the border and rescue his crew member. Picard makes it clear, though, that Romulan warships do not enter Federation space unless they want a battle. Picard was quite, ballsy with the Romulan, wasn't he? He was quite, you shall not pass, kind of thing.
Yeah, I suppose you've got to be with them. They're pretty aggressive, right?
Yeah. On the planet, Geordi tells Bokra about the beacon that Wesley sent down, and they eventually agree to work together as they both don't want to die. They go to leave the cave to find the beacon, but then his visor fails and Geordi is left blind. And that's the end of Act 3. Oh.
I forgot to point out at the beginning, when Geordi had fallen down the hole. And this is just one of those things that I guess the writers don't really think about. But somebody pointed out if he'd fired his phaser up, that would have easily shown them where he was.
That's a good point.
Like a beacon.
Yeah.
But never mind.
Never mind. Yeah, was that the only one from that? Oh, sorry, probably move.
Just that. Also, John Snyder Bokra. He later goes on to play Aaron Connor in Next Generation: The Masterpiece Society. We'll have to watch out for that one when we get that far. That's a 1992 one. A
couple of seasons later.
Yeah. That's, I think, all I've got at the moment.
So we've got question time for Act 3. And the question is, what is the name of the Centurion that's on the planet with Geordi? He's got a good Romulan name.
Oh, yeah.
But what is it? That's what we want to know.
How well is anybody listening?
This question is for a whopping, and I mean, I'm going all out on this one. It's a whopping 23 points.
23. Stingy with a point. I mean, we haven't even got up to 25 points yet, which is normally what the first ensign question is. And Karen's quite in the lead at the moment. What is Geordi's mate called? Thanks, Smiler. I always love Smiler's interpretation of the questions.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah.
Oh, dear.
From massive 23 points.
A massive 23 points.
Massive.
There's like some bits and bobs around when they first spoke to Tomalak. The status lights weren't right and various bits and bobs. Bokra, Jolie, you just like happening to copy the people that put it before.
It's amazing. We say how great he is. That's why he's won so many of these episodes.
Mickey, why don't you guess Bokra? Oh, he has.
Oh, he has. There we go.
Mickey hasn't even seen the episode ever.
Yeah, he's never watched it, but he's just fished that one.
What a good guess, Mickey. To be fair, Monty Band did say the name a couple of times, so it's reasonable that you may have just listened.
Yeah. Okay. So yes, the answer, surprisingly, is Bokra. And Karen was in there first, so she's the only one that gets the points. No, of course not. I just thought that would be funny. That would be ultra stingy, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'd already started adding them all up.
Everybody gets 23 points.
Hey.
So it's good news. And You're all commanders, because that was a commander question. So,
Oh, yeah.
well done, everybody. You're all commanders. Congratulations.
Very good. Mick and Joel on 23, Stuplum on 31, and Karen in the lead with 48.5. You never know, that half a point may always come in handy towards the end. Could be a tiebreaker. You never know.
Yeah. What's even better is that's as far as the questions we got before the episode. So, the last two
Act
questions.
4 and 5.
I'm going to
I just
make
thought
up.
I must have got bored of writing them down, but we just didn't actually cover them, did we?
No, we never got that
talking
far.
about the Klingon word of the day.
Yeah,
Oops.
we got sidetracked.
Where's
But
Cheese
don't
now
worry.
when we need him?
Don't worry. It will be fine.
Yeah, we'll think of something.
We'll think of something. Okay, so Act 4. Here we go. Worf visits Riker, who takes a shot of something upon Worf's entrance. I think he's been looking forward to this visit. Riker tries to make Worf understand that it could be possible that Federation will one day make peace with the Romulans. And if they let the Romulan die, does that Romulan's family carry on the hatred for another generation? When will the cycle stop? Worf's like, yeah, but I still don't want to do it. But he's like, so you believe I should go through with it? And Riker's like, it's not anything to do with what I believe. It's not up to me. And just then, Dr. Crusher summons Worf to sickbay. And Riker goes back to looking at porn on his computer.
That's what you were saying earlier about when I said he might be a bit sexually frustrated.
Yeah. Well, he was just like, when Worf come in, he was like, oh, what? It's like, what are you doing on your computer there? Okay. Because as soon as Worf goes, he's like, right, I'm back to it. I was like,
I mean, Worf must have sensed something as well, because he was like, "Oh, sorry to disturb you. I'll leave."
Sorry, I'll just go over here and just like be like, So, yeah. That was, yeah, there we go. So that's after that scene. Actually, Riker's chilled now for the rest of the episode. He was just like angry, frustrated, aggressive, chilled now, chilled. Oh yes, you missed our Babylon 5 discussion from earlier on, Joe. But yes, Jakar, one of the greatest sci-fi characters of all time.
Oh yes, and he was the baddie on The Fugitive. Good point.
The one-armed man. Was he
Andreas
one-armed man?
Katsulas. Yes, he's
one-armed
great.
man. Yeah. Yeah, very cool. So yes, Dr. Crusher asks Worf to sickbay because she wants Worf to see the Romulan one last time before he dies. Hopefully that'll help change his mind. Worf informs the Romulan that he needs a transfusion that only he can provide, but the Romulan says he would rather die than be filled with that Klingon filth. And Worf's like, yeah, that's what I thought. Then you shall... Today is a good day to die. I wanted him to say that, but he didn't.
I loved on Thanksgiving on the Facebook page, like the Next Generation Facebook page, there were loads of I saw loads of people posting pictures of Worf saying, "Today is a good day for pie."
Yeah. What was I saying? I've forgotten what I was saying. Oh yes, Klingon Phil. On the planet, Geordi's about to give up, but Bokra comes up with the idea of connecting his visor to the tricorder. Geordi sees the merit in the idea, but can't do it on the account of being blind. So the Romulan says, "I will be your eyes." He says it just like that.
Yes.
It's very dramatic. On the bridge, there's still no sign of Geordi, so Picard orders Riker to assemble a away team. Away team assemble. Just then, Worf reports that the Romulan Warbird has crossed the neutral zone border. And we get a dramatic zoom in on Picard, who says, "Red alert." Dun,
But
dun, dun, dun.
isn't it a bit odd though, because he looks directly at the camera?
Yeah, it does.
He seems
does
to break the fourth wall.
He does. Yeah, I don't know if we got a shot of that. No, we don't have a shot of that. But
It's like Riker sort of next to him and he just goes, red alert. And it's just like literally right at the camera. Very
Yeah.
odd.
Yeah. Yes, he breaks the fourth wall. He tells us it's red alert time. So, oh, thanks, mate. I think Karen probably melted at that point as
Oh, yeah, Karen.
as Picard stared right into her eyes and read her soul.
She's actually put I on there, but I think she was just saying I to Stuplum rather than she got looked directly in the eye by Picard.
Yeah. Yes, nice one, Stuplum. Yes, don't forget to like the stream, please. Please like away. We need all the help you can get.
I liked it right at the beginning. I'm getting good at remembering
thank you,
that
Naz.
now.
Thank you very much. Yeah, likes all round, please. That'd be fantastic. Yeah.
Now, I must admit I didn't notice this, but apparently when Worf got up close and personal with the dying Romulan, you could hear the Klingon theme from Star Trek: The Motion Picture faintly in the background. I didn't notice that. I thought you might have picked up on it because I know you were talking about the soundtrack for this episode earlier.
The theme tune for Star Trek: The Motion Picture is the TNG
Klingon
theme tune. Oh. Ding, 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 ding. Da, 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 da. Yeah. I did hear that,
really
actually.
faint in the background, apparently. It's pretty cool.
Yes. So, Act 4. The Act 4 question. It's question time.
Time.
Question 4, or for Act 4. It's, what did Riker do when Worf entered his quarters?
Oh.
What's the first thing Riker did when Worf entered his quarters?
I'm going to give you a hint. It wasn't whip his hands out of his pants.
It wasn't quickly put the toilet roll under his desk. It wasn't any of those things. Yeah, I just got to type that question out just because I didn't have it. What did Riker?
How many points is this one? Sorry.
Oh yes, points. I'm going to go with. Let's go for around 30. 30 whole points.
Smiler did point out that 23 was a prime number, so you couldn't have really split it between people very easily anyway. No. Maybe you should do 1 week where you go all for primes.
All primes.
Start with the little primes and then do the big primes.
What did Riker do when Worf entered his quarters?
Oh, yeah. Breaking the fourth wall. We did that one.
We did that, yeah.
So there was something, I think it was on Memory Alpha, but it was saying that after Picard stops speaking with Tomalak, I think it was in Act 3, it said the shot of Picard was from Ensigns of Command, so it's just like reuse of other footage, but I couldn't quite figure out which bit they were talking about. I don't even know how go through and notice all these bits of where it's been reshot, but yeah. And originally Patak was going to survive, and the writers were trying to come up with a valid reason for Worf to save Patak's life, but Michael Piller was advocating that they should just let him die. And originally Michael Dorn actually was against the idea of Worf letting somebody die. He thought it was like really kind of uncaring and it would not reflect well on his character. But like a few years later in hindsight, he felt like it was actually kind of the right thing to do character wise. And to be fair, like Worf's not really aggressive about it. He's just like sticking to his principles. I think to condemn a whole race for some people's acts is not great. But I don't know, it's difficult, isn't it? It's a tricky one.
Yeah, it is. But, it just shows how emotionally damaged he is from having his parents killed by the Romulans. And I think, it's pretty brave to just go, no, that's it. I'm just not,
And it's not like he's actively trying to hurt anybody, but he's like, no. The blood inside me is the lifeblood of my parents, and they spilled it. Why should I spill it for them, sort of thing?
Yeah, and I think the Romulan kind of signed his own death warrant when he said, "I'd rather die," and Worf's like, "I'll happily oblige you." Yeah. Yeah. So we got some answers in. We've got Have a Shot from Stuplum. We got Riker was busy reading from Karen. We got Put a Dress Back into the Wardrobe.
And from Joel, no idea.
Joe, yeah, no idea from Joe. So, yeah.
He puts his dress back and says that's only for the weekends.
Yeah.
Like it.
Something we'd like to see. One thing I didn't say in this scene here where he's getting the update from Wes that they still haven't got Geordi. Riker's doing the Riker maneuver on the console with his foot up on the console. It's one of those episodes where we get a good Riker maneuver. Riker maneuver Mark 1, the leg up maneuver, not the leg over a back of a chair.
Not the straddle.
Not the straddle maneuver. So there we go. There's a Riker maneuver for all you Riker maneuver fans out there. We got one winner for this question, and that is Stuplum. He does, as soon as he walks in, he takes a shot of something.
Some
Not sure if it's
some kind.
Alcoholic, or I think it probably is.
Nicely done. The plum.
The plum. So
that has edged you into the lead past Karen, who's still on 48.5. Stuplum is now on 61 points.
No promotion on that one. You're still commanders, but congratulations on that. Or did we have commanders? Did they get the last one right?
Yeah. We had lieutenant commanders last time.
Oh, commander then.
So maybe that makes you a commander.
Yeah, that makes you a commander. Well done, Commander Stuplum. Yes, have a shot. Have a shot on me.
Oh, yes, and Stuplum, you can have a shot as well.
So we move on to the last act of the day. Act 5. On the planet, Geordi's talking to Bokra through constructing a neutrino detector. So Bokra's being his arms and eyes, and Geordi's kind of perched on his shoulder, giving him instructions. They're excited that it's the first Co-Federation and Romulan project. Bokra notices the storm is easing, so they decide to make for the probe, where Bokra laments that he will then become Geordi's prisoner. Picard calls Worf to his ready room. We've got that as a picture. I've seen it.
Oh, yeah. The next one.
There we go. Yes. There we go. Picard calls Worf to his ready room and outlines how, if the Romulan dies, it could start a war. And so the death of the Romulan... start a war. The death of the Romulan at the hands of the Federation. I mean, think of it. Worf says he has thought of it. Picard reinforces this with a, so we both agree then that the Romulan is more valuable alive than dead. And Worf says yes, he understands. Picard says he's got to weigh up the good of the many against the needs of the individual.
That good old Star Trek line.
Good old line, which isn't easy. And Worf says he's never had cause to complain. To which Picard says, you wouldn't complain even if you did have cause. Worf says he will do as he is ordered, if, in fact, Picard orders him to comply. But Picard said, I didn't want to order you, Worf. I wanted you to volunteer. But Worf won't. So Picard retakes his seat and says, Lieutenant, and he kind of like, yes, sir. He like gathers himself up, ready to be ordered, and Picard's like, that will be all. He doesn't go to order him to do something that he knows his friend would very much hate. He would rather, rely on his diplomatic skills if needed.
And I think there is a line that you can't really cross there. Sort of philosophically, it's, ordering your crew to do something is one thing, but could you really order one of them to undergo a medical procedure that does feel like it's crossing some kind of ethical boundary? So I think that was right of Picard, actually. But it was kind of surprising. You do expect him to just order him to do it. But he doesn't. or credit to Picard for that.
This would not go this way in the new Star Trek and Discovery or Picard. This is not how this would play out at all. I'm just saying.
No, that's true.
But yeah, he doesn't. So he informs the Doctor to say that she can't rely on Worf's involvement anymore, and she's like, it's a mute problem now because the Romulan, in fact, has just died. So, yep. The Romulan ship arrives, and Tomalak demands the return of his officer because Picard states he has entered Federation space, which is one of the most obvious things I think Picard's ever said. He says it in such a commanding, domineering way. You have entered Federation space. Yes, it's there in front of you. It's like, well done. You've noticed. Tomalak is resolute, though, that he's not leaving without his officer. There's a dramatic zoom in on Picard, who then states he's dead. Tomalak replies, well, he will be the first of many. Ends comms, powers up his disruptors. Here we go. In response, Picard orders shields to max and lock on phasers. Geordi, in a case of terrible timing, now makes contact via the probe. But they cannot lower their shields to beam him aboard.
You might consider it's just in timing.
Just in time, maybe, but yeah, if you could have only just been 5 minutes earlier.
Yeah.
This gives Picard data reports that the window in the storm is allows them to detect 2 life forms on the planet. This gives Picard the leverage he needs over the Romulans. He holds the Romulans back and tells them that it appears they have found another crew member of the one-man Romulan ship. They're about to beam him on board, so please don't blow us up when we lower our shields. Anyway, that's the general summary of what he says. He orders Worf to lower the shields and has O'Brien beam them directly to the bridge. We've probably got a shot of that, I'd imagine. There we go. Worf orders security to the bridge, but Picard says belay that order and orders shields back up. He tells Bukra he will not be harmed. Tomalak reappears on the view screen, and Bukra tells him that he hasn't told them anything. And in fact, this human, Geordi, saved his life. Picard wants to know how Tomalak didn't know about the second officer, and Tomalak claims that he wasn't properly informed. It was a simple error. They power down their weapons, and Picard agrees to beam Bukra back and escort them back to the neutral zone. After they are gone, Riker and Picard lament on how a closer call that was, with Picard stating brinkmanship is a dangerous game. And that was the end of the episode.
So one thing I don't get is why was Tomalak saying that there was only one person, and then why, was he so cagey about it? If it had turned out that, maybe one was a prisoner and one was I just don't get that.
He didn't want Picard looking for another survivor, just in case he was still alive.
Oh, and in case they would take him prisoner and try and force things out.
Well, that's right. They assume that the Federation is like themselves.
Yeah, okay.
And they'd have tortured the death out of the person to get all the information out of them. And he didn't want that to happen. So he was like, there's nobody else there, don't worry about it. And then after they said their goodbyes, he would have cloaked up, gone back to the planet, found the other person dead or alive and probably killed them, or made them disappear. But yes, as it happened, we never find out what happened to the poor Bukra. So at the end of this, it's rather nice and touching because he tells the Romulans that he didn't tell them anything, and they all sort of shake hands. I mean, look how happy Geordi is with his new pal.
I did wonder if they'd become pen pals, just every now and then say, hi, how you doing? How's your life?
Well, what do you think Tomalak's going to do to him once he's aboard the Romulan Warbird? And So you didn't tell them anything? How sure are you about that?
Well, let's make sure.
Well, let's make sure. Your family might not recognize you by the time we finished, unfortunately. But it's all for the good of the Romulan Star Empire. Poor Bokra. He's not going to have a happy time, I don't think. I think Geordi's new uniform stood up pretty well by the looks of things.
It's a mess, though. No wonder I couldn't tell which type uniform it was.
Yeah, it definitely has no lines, and it's definitely the sort of baggier version. So it's the elastic around the waist that really gives it the proper look. So yeah, that was the end of the episode. Now I just got to think up another question.
Well, while you're thinking, I was trying to think.
Goofs or
a couple of bits. I was trying to think whether there were any main characters that were not in it, but the only one I could think of was Noah Bryan. But he's not necessarily a main character at this stage. The other thing is that, as has been,
Bryan was in this episode.
Oh, was he? Oh,
yeah.
I missed him. Oops.
Yeah. Riker shouts at him in the transporter room, he tells Riker that
they were all there then. We had a full
the electromagnetic storm was creating too many ghosts.
I was a bit distracted when watching it in a rush, so yeah, sorry about that. There was also no sort of secondary subplot. It kind of in this one, it's like the whole thing with Worf was almost treated like a subplot that sort of ran throughout it, and we kept coming back to that. So that almost sort of served as a subplot device.
Yeah, we kind of had that saving the Romulan and the Geordi surviving. Yeah. But I mean, that whole because I know that you've often said about having that secondary thing is a very Star Trek-y thing, but there do seem to have been quite a few episodes recently where it has just been a main story. So I try to just each time to look at that. At the end, Picard tells Tomalak that the Enterprise will escort the ship back to the neutral zone, and then in the final shot it shows them going in opposite directions because that was reuse of I think it was the scene from Conundrum, was it? Yes.
So yeah, because they reused it where they parted ways at the end, although he says he's going to escort them, that's not what it shows. And this was a while back, but Deanna spoke about how there was all this hostility behind Tomalak's smile, but actually they were like 6 hours away by warp, and although her telepathic ability might go as far as to like be able to experience whatever somebody's thinking down on a planet, it's unlikely that she would be able to sense anybody's feelings that far away, because that would just be crazy. She would be able to tell people's feelings on all sorts of planets and all sorts of directions if that was the case.
The final scene was from Contagion. Yeah. Did you see
that?
Right.
Okay. I said Conundrum.
Contagion.
Yeah, that's better. I don't know where I read it. It's not actually in my notes. I think I must have read it on memory, Alf.
I can actually show you, because I like this kind of thing, because there's the shot from Contagion with the Contagion planet, and you see the Enterprise going off that direction, and the Warbird sort of flies towards us. So they head off in different directions. And if you look at that brownie planet and that scene, and then that is the scene from, so they basically just replaced the planet. And that's what it looked like.
They've also repositioned the Enterprise though. Or do they
well,
sort of
no, it's just
earlier,
taken from a different frame. But the Enterprise flies off that direction. So this is just a few frames earlier. Yeah. This is in standard definition, and this is it in the new Blu-ray versions with computer-generated models. So they redid the shot, I think.
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool and groovy.
That's one of your favourite ships, isn't it?
The Warbird, yes. I've got it. I've got it up there. I don't know if you can see it. Right where my finger is. There.
Not really.
No. Well,
but I believe you. I've seen it in real life.
There is a Romulan Warbird there. Yeah.
They are quite elegant.
Yeah. It's very cool design. It's just a little bit. I think might have mentioned this before, but unlike the Enterprise and Federation ships, where they're powered by dilithium crystals and antimatter to make the warp field, Romulan ships, the Warbird, are powered by synthetic black holes. It's a black hole drive. They're powered by black holes at their core. So when they blow up, they don't so much blow up, but spectacularly implode. So there you go.
Yeah, isn't there an episode about that? Where like there's a fracture in time.
Something, yeah. It does come up in an episode. There you go. Where is Chewie? Chewie is with Smiler Rainbow. Yeah, he's not in here this evening. I think because it's winter, we keep all the doors closed to stop the heat going up through the stair. Well,
He can't roam around so much.
He can't. No, he can't roam around. He's got to be in a room. So yeah, he's in the front room with Smiler Rainbow. Do you know? I've been chatting whilst you've been saying all this, and I haven't actually got a question. So I'm just going to make one up off the top of my head and say, what two pieces of technology do Geordi and Bakra use to find the neutrino pulse?
Good question. How many points?
Is
it fastest on buzzer, or can anyone answer at any speed?
Oh, anyone can answer. 40 points.
40 points.
40. Big 40.
And 20 points for each item that you get right.
Yes. Yes, that's a good point. Yeah. 20 points per item. 2 items. What did they use to build the neutrino detector?
Nikki says a phaser and a Nokia 3210.
That'd be pretty damn impressive.
Yeah. I mean, Geordi's like a master engineer, right? So he could make that work.
And let's be fair, the Nokia 3210 will probably still be around in the 24th century.
Yeah.
They seem to just keep going.
While people bring in the questions, I'll sort of preempt the conversation about marks out of 10. So I did post this again on Facebook to ask the masses, and I had like 5 responses this time, so it was less than last week, and the responses were a 9, an 8, a 7, a 7.5, and an 8. And they all averaged out to be just under 8. So that's what the people say, the Facebook world of people say.
Right. Well,
Karen says visor and phaser. Now she says tricorder and visor. What about Stuplum? Answer Stuplum. And Joel, I don't know if Joel's still with us. Answers on a postcard.
Yeah, he probably had a little game of Snake while he was waiting. Classic.
So,
Karen's changed her answer. Do we allow that?
It's up to you.
Oh yes, you can change your answer.
So what were your thoughts about the episode in general?
I thought it was great.
It is a good episode, isn't it?
Yeah, I've forgotten how much I like this episode, but then I say that every week. It's coming by.
You're just loving it, aren't you? You're just loving this whole experience.
Indulging in Star Trek Next Generation. Yeah, it's just my ideal time, really. But no, particularly good. Obviously, love the Jakar, the Jakar guy.
Andreas Katsulas.
And Andreas, I can never remember his surname. I was like trying to find his surname. Where's his surname? But yes, Andrea
Katsulas.
Yeah, Katsulas. That guy. I thought the Bakra guy was also very strong, as we mentioned earlier. I thought, all the crew were in it. They all had some part to play, even if it was small, like the Doctor. Troy even sensed the emotions behind the Romulan Commander, and Wes built a probe, and I suppose the most thing, Data didn't really have anything to do in this episode, apart from have a couple of lines, which is unusual because he has generally quite a lot of screen time, does Data. Yeah, I just thought it was very solid. I did think it was weird. Riker, I thought, was a bit strange.
Not quite himself.
Not quite himself. And I understand, he had to leave a man behind, and you never leave a man behind, that kind of adage. But nobody really addressed it. No time did Picard, pull him to one side and go, I know you feel emotional about this, but you're the first officer on the ship. I want you to pull yourself together, man. I would have expected that kind of line, but he just let Riker run rampant, really, which was a bit like he should have reined him in a little bit.
Good point.
But no, it's good. I liked, even though they used the old Planet Hell, I thought the lighting and the music and the sound effects and everything really gave it a cinematic feel, especially in the Blu-ray version.
And not only that, there were so many different aspects to it, where there was the pit, the wall, there was the climbing along with the water behind, and, then going through that. So they, it wasn't just like one boring thing where all of the away team were as a single shot. There was lots of different components to it. They made it a bit more epic for, that kind of a scenery.
Yeah. Yeah. So all in all, thought it was very good. Yeah. So, answers to the final question, the captain question for the day. What two pieces of technology did they use to find the neutrino signal? And it was Geordi's visor and his tricorder. So, Karen, in her second attempt, got it right. So,
88.5 points for the Karen, 61 points for
Captain Karen.
61 points for Commander Stuplum, and 23 points apiece for Lieutenant Commanders Mickey and Joel.
Yeah. So yeah, congratulations, Karen. I am now going to put your...
it's spreadsheet time.
It's spreadsheet time.
And we need to vote.
And we do need to vote.
This is one of those difficult ones where I'm between two votes. If I do it one way, I think it will be too high. It's like I wish these had like a halfy on our paddles as well. But yeah.
Karen is now stretching into the lead in season 3.
What? Karen, well done.
Yeah. So she was in joint lead with Stuplum, but now she's taken the lead on her own.
Very nicely done.
Very nice. Very, very well done. Whoop, whoop, she says in chat. Yeah, I will salute you. I will salute you Rimmer style. There you go.
I would do the big giant head salute, but that would just mess up my hair. And
right, yes. So, scores. Please put your scores in chat for this episode. If you've seen it, Mickey, just critique my telling of it if you wish. I won't be offended.
Do let us know if and when you get around to watching it, what you think of it.
Yes. The Facebook gave it an 8.
8. Yeah. So our scores, are you ready, Monty Man?
You ready?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1.
Go. See,
I
was between an 8 and a 7. It's like, it's a difficult one. If I was going to go with an 8, I would have probably just again represented the public vote. But it's like, you put me down as an 8.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. You I think you said 8, just as I was.
Yeah. It's like I felt like I wanted to go 8.5. Yeah, see, Stuplum did 7.5. Sorry, I wanted to do 7.5, but obviously I can't. So And I felt like, I've done a couple of 8s, and there's still so many better episodes to come this series. So I've just
I
gone
know.
slightly down on this one.
I've backed myself into a high corner
You
now that I
have.
can't get out of. I might have to add some figures onto my create an 11 and 12.
It's like, and although I like this episode, I still like Who Watches the Watchers more, So
Well,
I still
yeah.
feel a bit justified in doing that. So
Do you know,
yeah.
I think this time watching it through, I and this is why I gave it a 9. I think that was my favourite episode so far, the one I've enjoyed most this season.
Yeah.
I think I enjoyed it more than. So yeah, I thought, right, I'm going higher. I'm going higher again. I've gone and done it. So that's what I did. Yeah. Look at Stuplum utilising his 0.5
to be safe.
7.
He's a bit surprised about all the high scores though. So yeah, it was a fairly decent episode. Maybe you'll be looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Spoilers all round. Sorry about that, Mickey.
Yeah.
Bless you for still tuning in, even when
thanks.
you're going to be getting spoilers.
Oh, yeah. Well, you've now got 2 episodes to watch this week, Mickey. So yeah. Yeah.
I think it's quite cool that only 2 of us have voted so far, and this episode is still scored as much as Evolution, even though G-Star's vote and score isn't even in there yet.
Well, he could give it a 5 or something, I suppose. But hey,
it'll more likely be higher.
Yeah, why did that? Oh yeah, right. Oh yeah, because I suppose it's 0. It's counting it as 0, isn't it? It's not just taking the average of those 2.
It's divided by 3. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I was like, why is that higher? Oh yeah, because it's, of course, string is 0. But yeah. You see, as you say, it's already going to be high.
Majram, Stuplum, Majram.
Majram. Yes, Majram.
Majram.
Yeah, good night.
Yeah. Oh, I can do quite a growly voice with my.
Oh, that's pretty good. You can get your Klingon going on there.
Majram.
Majram. Yeah. So yeah, as you say, it's pretty high. Next week, what have we got? What do we got on the episode list for next week?
I will tell you just a second.
I know.
Oh, you know. What is it? What is it?
An episode called The Price.
The Price.
Yeah, I only remember because the VHS video and the picture on it was The Enemy and The Price. They both were like 2 short the episodes. So yeah, I can't remember what The Price is, to be honest.
Something about a so it's the one where Troy and Beverly do their calisthenics with their little leotards on, which is quite funny. But yeah, it's to do with
stable wormhole.
Yeah, negotiations for control of a wormhole.
Yeah. Okay, cool, interesting. Yeah, so The Price next week. So there you go, Mickey. You got The Enemy to watch and The Price.
If you want to see Crusher and Troy in spandex, then this is the place to be.
Yeah, in sort of 1980s keep fit attire. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's the episode
so many
for
memes.
You. So many memes. Yes. Just a little plug for other things going on my channels this week. Tomorrow, we've got the last fortnight live stream of this fortnight season and chapter. So, I don't know if you know, chapter 2 of Fortnite Battle Royale has come to an end this weekend. The island will be being destroyed, and we'll be getting a whole new island next week. So, look out for that. So, our last playthrough of this island tomorrow. So, fun times on that. And on Friday, we've got Monty Zone with myself and G-Star, where we're talking about time travel.
Ooh.
Time travel. Yes.
Exciting.
Is it possible? Have we been visited by people from the future or future dimensions? Or, is there any evidence? What is scientifically thought possible? We'll be discussing all those things on the Monty Zone on Friday night. Here on Montauban Live at 8 o'clock. So yes, if you're interested in that kind of thing, grab yourself a beer and come talk about time travel with us. Should be good. So yeah. Apart from that, I think that's it. I think we're done.
I'm going to London tomorrow for my Christmas party. That's about all I have going on this week.
So your voice is going to go from croaky to completely non-existent.
Yeah, I mean, in a crowded room and stuff, trying to network with work people, it's not going to go well, is it? No. Let's face it.
No. But thank you, Maz, for joining me this week. Sorry you couldn't be here, G-Star, but we will find out your score. I don't think he's
next
going to be on next week.
Yeah.
I don't know if.
He said he was, because then I think next week is going to be our last one before Christmas, isn't it? So he said he was going to be here for the last one.
That's what I was going to mention is, yes, next week is going to be the last TNG review show. So,
and we take a 3-week break.
Taking a 3-week break. We'll be back in the beginning of January.
First Wednesday in January.
So you don't have to worry about joining us over Christmas. We're on holiday. So yes, last one next week for a few weeks. But I hope to see you there. Thank you to Karen, our champion for tonight. Thank you to Stu Plum for coming along. Thank you to Mickey. Thank you to Joel. And thank you to my ever-suffering Smiler Rainbow, my wrench. And thank you, Mazza Bob. And we'll see you next Wednesday at 8 o'clock for the next TNG review show.
Ta-ra, beautiful Trekkie.
Maj Ram.
Maj Ram.